let's go forward to this week. We always have a look at 3 games in particular. No Thursday night game, of course, because of Origin. But I thought the first game of the round, Cowboys Sharks, is an absolute beauty. How do you see this one going, Surly?
Yeah, I think this is probably the game of the week for me, and I think this could go either way, to be fair. A lot of it kind of depends on who backs up from Origin, but 2 versus 4. Cowboys haven't named a lot of their Origin players except for Dearden. At home in Townsville, I think it'll be a real arm wrestle. Some great matchups across the park. I'd probably go the Cowboys 1-12 just because of that home ground advantage. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharkies got up because on paper, they're probably the better side. I'm just backing that old Toddy Payton's going to pull off another special.
Mate, I'm a man of many caps today. I've also filled in for the stat man.
Oh.
And Sharks have won the last 7 games against North Queensland, home and away. They've won the last 9 of 11. 5 of the last 7 are over the 41.5 total points this week. And the last 3 games in North Queensland, the Sharks have come out victorious. So for me, it's all pointing towards the Sharks. I did, and we expect to play. Will you risk a young kid that close to after a big Origin Game 3 decider? I think Toddy's sitting comfortably in the top 4. I think we just let him rest. And for me, I think Talakai, if he only plays 10 minutes again, could back up and play for the Sharks. And I'm pretty sure that's the Sharks' strongest team. I don't know who's out for them if Talakai plays. I think they're pretty much full strength. You got Finucane back, you got Toby Rudolph, Nico Hines back this week. No excuses from me for the Sharks. I think they get this done.
Yeah, I'm glad that we've got Statman with us this week because I also like the look of the home team, the Cowboys here, and it's more based on the fact that I guess Toddy Payton has got them just humming along all season. There's a culture that's been sort of instilled there that I think gets them over the line this weekend, even though they're probably man for man on paper, they probably shouldn't be the favourites in this game. I just love the way that Todd Payton's got the Cowboys ticking, even when they've had players out. And I noticed Tuilangi's not there, so he's definitely not playing, is he? Because although Munster could be playing for the Storm, is it because it's another extra day or something like that he gets around those COVID-19 protocols? I don't know. Anyway, I still like the Cowboys myself, even though Statman is telling me you should be getting on the Sharks and getting as much as you can. Those are some crazy stats there.
Crazy.
If you're a Sharks supporter, you would have to back them. You don't win these games on a piece of paper. You win these games on the field. I'm going to channel my Gus Gould again. Don't worry. These were just like Queensland, who were totally outmanned on paper. They'll find a way to sneak a victory tonight. And I think the Cowboys will do the same on Friday night. So I like the Cowboys there. Second game we'll look at, no surprises, Eels Warriors. And Warriors are, I think, 15.5 point underdogs against the Eels. Actually, it's moved to 16.5.
Yeah.
16.5 point underdogs. I'll give you the tip. I think the Irish in the second test were 16.5 point underdogs when the markets opened, and they turned the tables on the All Blacks. Surely, surely the Warriors, the Warriors can't win this match, but surely they can keep it close. Surely they could keep it closer than 16.5 points.
Well, I don't think you're going to like my answer because I definitely think we'll win. Unfortunately, we've been hit with the old virus, whether it be COVID or just sickness. So pretty big losses there in Dallin and Volkman. That right edge makes me a touch nervous. But in saying that, Ed Cossey's been ripping up for the Dolphins. So hopefully he's got a bit of confidence under his belt and he can bring that back in. But look, while she's back, Tohu in at prop, Jazz back at lock. I don't think Junior Paulo will back up. Surely he's been named, but if you're starting an Origin game at prop, 2 days later, it might be a pretty tough ask to back up. And
Mm.
I think the most positive thing is Para won on the weekend. So that means they're due a loss, and it'll come at the hands of the Warriors. I noticed as well, Warriors to score is only 12.5 points total, which is complete disrespect. So look, there's plenty of big money to be won from this game, and I'll be happy to take it. I'm going the Mighty Warriors.
Yeah.
I get the feeling I already know what Surly's total bet will be for this weekend.
Yeah, I just gave it away at juicy odds too. $1.95. Crazy.
Statman, you're going to
Mm.
tell us why the Eels are a very, very good bet, surely.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The 16.5 for the Warriors is a great bet. The Eels have won 5 of the last 7 against the Warriors. But out of the 5 the Eels have won 4 out of 5 games this year at CommBank. The only one they lost to was the Tigers by a point. But in 3 of those 4 wins, they won 1-12. And they come against the Titans and teams like that. So I think for the Warriors, I like this lineup. And I know we've got a couple out, but like Surly just said, Para don't like winning back-to-back. This is a bit unorthodox for Parramatta to be in this position. And I'm looking towards the 3 out of 4 wins at CommBank this year by only 1-12 points. And Titans being one of those teams and a lot of other teams. I'm still tipping the Eels, but maybe by about 4 points. I'm definitely going Eels 1-12 in that one. And I think the 16.5 at $1.90 is an absolute steal for the Warriors.
The Eels have very much been an up and down team this season, as Surly pointed out. They get smashed by the Cowboys in Darwin. Then they go to Bluebet Stadium and beat the Panthers. They lose to the Roosters. They only just get past the Sea Eagles and the Raiders. Then they get smashed by the Dogs. It's a team that's very, very hard to follow. And as you mentioned, they lost by 1 to the Tigers at home, at CommBank. They've lost to the Dogs. They lost to a number of teams who are outside the top 8, which is pretty good news for the Warriors because that's where they sit right now, outside the top 8. So maybe Surly, I don't know if I can go the whole 100% with Surly and say the Warriors are going to win, but I certainly think that 16.5 points just looks a wee bit too much for the Eels to cover.
Well, I do remember the last time I was actually a part of the Warriors and I played this game the last time we played at CommBank Stadium. And I think Surly might remember the forward pass that we ended up getting an apology for and got beat by 2 points and they scored. And look, that still haunts us because could have been season changing there, but it's always close there. CommBank's a close game.
All right. Last game we'll look at. And it was there are a number of games we could have looked at. I've settled on the Roosters Dragons just because I wanted to have a look at the Roosters, and I think they've turned the sort of corner. They're sort of on the rise again. And I guess although they sit, they're just outside the 8 at the moment, aren't they? They're 4 points outside the 8.
Two. Is
2
it?
points.
Is it 2? I believe so.
And they've got to get moving though. They have to get moving, otherwise they're gonna be left behind. They're 2 points outside the 8 on 16 points at the moment in 10th place, equal. Funnily enough, equal with the Dragons. And I think your bet was back the Roosters after last weekend to make the 8. That was around 2:30.
2:30. Yep.
Yeah.
They were 4 points out before the weekend, so they've already jumped 2 without playing a game.
Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look. To make the 8, Rabbitohs $1.30, Roosters $2.37. Roosters $2.37 to make the 8.
Gone out. Jeez, I did not expect that.
Get some more then.
Well, listen to this. So, Roosters have won 7 of the last 8 against the Dragons, but that one loss to the Dragons came this year, that 14-12. We know the Roosters have been this year. 5 out of those 7 wins, the Roosters have won 13 plus. So if you think they're going to turn the table from earlier this year, 13 plus is a very good bet for the Roosters. I just think, look, for me, Joey Manu at 6. That's all I've got to say. I don't have anything more to say about the game. Joseph Manu at 6. Done.
Shirley?
Yeah, I also had here Manu at 6. Also, I think this is probably close to their best lineup. Of course, Luke Carey's out, so you'd chuck him in the mixer, but they get Waria Hargraves back. They get Momorowski back. All the Origin boys are named to play. Matty Lodge on an extended bench. So I think 1 to 17, they've got an incredibly good team, and I think they'll just be too strong. If Benny Hunt has a day, then he might be able to keep the Dragons in that 1 to 12 kind of loss range, but I still expect the Roosters to win, and I'd be going 13 plus. I think they'll be too good.
I couldn't agree more. I'm also on them, and it's good that they're playing the Dragons this week, because if they beat them, they jump ahead of them, and they're just outside the 8. And then a couple of weeks later, they've got the Sea Eagles, who currently sit in that 8th spot. And I think, having a look at the table, it's probably a fight between the Roosters and the Sea Eagles for that last spot in the 8. So a pivotal game coming up. When is it? Round 20. And it's the Thursday night game as well. So it'll be an absolute huge game. Yeah, I can't see the Roosters not winning this game and winning it quite comfortably. So here's hoping that they keep their top 8 hopes alive and get that 237 to make the 8. Blake loves it. Yes.
Oh, I'm back on.